Hey guys, welcome to the webinar. Glad to have everyone here with us today. We're still getting a bunch of people to join. There we go. And we're also just going live on YouTube right now as well. So if you guys are on our YouTube channel, welcome as well. And then if if you want to kind of see any of our, first of all, the recording of what we're doing here, or if you want to see some of our past webinars or get to know anything in the future, then you can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to show you guys specifically what I'm talking about. Okay, so there you go. Got my screen up, screen sharing up. Throughout this whole webinar, you guys can ask questions throughout. All right, so don't wait until the end. Don't hesitate. You guys can ask questions either by using the Q&A or the chat. All right, so let's just test it out. So can you guys, first of all, can everyone hear me right now? All right, you guys can write again in the chat. There we go. So we got someone in the chat. Yes, you can hear me. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Monique. Perfect. Okay. Great. And we got a couple more coming in here. Awesome. Great. Okay, so as I was saying, we're live on YouTube right now. You can actually check us out if you go to youtube.com, you go to Lumiwealth, right? Search for Lumiwealth. Okay, you'll see that we come up here. This is our channel, Lumiwealth. When you're here, make sure you subscribe to us. We, like I said, release lots of free content, lots of videos on here. So subscribe is going to give you a lot of different, a lot of things we're going to be sending your way, right? And then here is where we're actually going live. This is our live feed right now, as you can see. After this webinar, this is actually going to become recorded. So if you guys want to rewatch this or anything like that, you can find it on our YouTube channel. All right. Okay, great. All right, so let's get started. All right, this is our agenda for today. All right, so we're going to do a quick survey, kind of get to know who's on the call here. I'm going to do a quick introduction about Lumiwealth and kind of what we're up to and what the course is all about. Then we're going to jump into algorithmic trading. We're going to go over kind of the returns that we've made and then actually show you a demo of all the stuff working. All right. Cool. So let's start off with getting to know you guys a little better. All right. So 3 questions I want to ask you guys. First of all, what's your occupation? What do you guys do for a living? Right. Do you guys work in engineering or computer science or finance or something completely different, right? Entrepreneurs, we seem to get a lot of entrepreneurs as well. Let us know if you know how to program or not, right? So you can say, I know how to program, and you can go P or N, if little shortcuts there. Do you know how to program? And let us know how much investment experience you guys have as well. You could type all this stuff in the chat, and we'll kind of get some maybe answers here. What's your occupation? Do you know how to program? And then how much investment experience do you have in years, right? Just so we get to know you guys a little bit. All right, executive assistant, no clue on programming. You do advanced trading, very cool. So we got some good traders in here. Finance, you know how to program bill, that's great. So it sounds like you're actually right in line with what we're doing. And 12 years of coding, that sounds fantastic, great. Cool. Okay. And you guys can all, anyone else that wants to write in, you guys can write in as well. Yeah, thank you very much for that, guys. It's great to get to know. I'm going to keep reading it as they come in. All right. Okay. So let's tell you guys a little bit about kind of what we do here at Lumiwealth and what we're up to. It sounds like we have quite a bit of people here with a decent amount of finance and trading experience, which is fantastic, right? We got another one coming in here. Software engineer, part-time investor, and trader. Great, perfect. Yeah, it sounds like this stuff is exactly right up your alleyway, guys. It's absolutely perfect. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself and about Lumiwealth. So myself, I've been programming for a very long time. I was a kid when I got started. I was like one of those kids that was like 12 years old when I started programming. It was a long time ago, I'll tell you that much, without giving too much away about my age here. But 20 plus years of coding experience, also managing software teams and that sort of thing. I worked a lot on Wall Street, basically building all these fintech applications. So some cool things that we built. So I used to work at Greystone, which is a mortgage lender, commercial mortgage lender. And I was running a team of software engineers there. We built essentially a program that helps people with the lending process. I believe to date, we probably have gone through maybe $15 billion worth of loans using that program that we built a while ago. So that's pretty cool. I also worked at a company called Voyager, which if you guys are into crypto, is one of the bigger crypto exchanges or brokers, I should say, kind of like Coinbase, very similar to Coinbase. I remember that company when we first got started. We built everything basically from scratch. Now the company's worth about $3 billion. So that's pretty cool. Definitely fun to be part of that kind of project, especially at such an early stage. Yeah, I also have a master's in finance and obviously I've been doing this for a while. So that's kind of my background. Lumiwealth. So what is Lumiwealth? So we started this company essentially to help people like you, right? It's to help you guys be able to build your own trading robots and to also really help with your investing abilities, right? So we all know that software is just taking over almost every industry in the world. Finance is no different, right? And when I used to work on Wall Street, I always found it kind of disheartening that people with lots and lots of money had access to things that, and I mean like the billionaire kind of people had access to investments that most of us were not able to get, and technology that most of us were not able to get, and we really want to flip that around, right? We want to give these types of tools to the everyday investor so that we can actually make sure everyone's getting very good investment returns across the board, right? This is the whole point of Lumiwealth and what we're about, right? So you guys, by the way, I got another chat in here. So let me read out another chat. Sherwin says, system engineer, more scripter than programmer. Is there a good share library I can use? Yeah, I'm going to show you a library that we use in our courses. It's called Lumibot, right? That's going to be a library that you can actually use within what you're doing, right? So great. Thank you for that. It's fantastic. Okay, so here's our course where we teach how to build these things, right? We teach you. So there's two advantages to this course, really. One advantage is that you're going to come out with a working trading bot by the end of it, right? You're going to be able to actually automatically buy and sell stocks using code, kind of like how I'm going to show you in the demo at the end of the class. But you're also going to learn a lot about coding, which is also very good towards your career as well, right? So it's kind of a twofold thing that most people get this class for. Of course, the entire class is based around, we're going to be building out these algorithmic trading robots, right? So we have 3 plans that you can get to sign up with us through. The first plan is a self-directed plan. And this plan is essentially, you're going to watch our videos, right? And you're going to learn from our videos. You still get access to some of our support. We can still get on calls with you and that sort of thing. But it's a lot less interactive than usual. It's really like video based and you're watching them and it's self-paced kind of learning, right? Then we have our live classes plan, and this is definitely the most popular by far. And this plan is it's kind of like this, how we're live over Zoom right now. But imagine where you guys can turn on your cameras, you can just turn on your mics and start asking questions, right? A lot of people do that. It becomes very interactive. People get to know each other in class. It really feels like you're in a classroom together, right? But obviously we're Zoom. So it means you don't have to be in a place like New York City or San Francisco where you could get these types of niche classes. You could just do this from the comfort of your own home. And if you're in different places in America, you're going to be able to have access to these types of very specialized education, which you'd usually only be able to get in like New York City or SF, right? Yeah, these live classes are fantastic. Not only do you get to learn from the instructor, in this case, it's going to be myself. We have other instructors for other classes. You'll be able to ask questions throughout the class as we're going through it. So it makes it very easy and interactive to learn. There's also a lot to be said for like making sure that we keep pace, right? So we find that a lot of people take our live classes, they tend to really be a lot more involved in the learning and get through the process quite a bit faster. And with like more things coming out of it. And then also you're going to get to know a lot of your other students, right? So it's very much project based, right? So you're going to see other people present their projects. You're going to see what everyone else is up to, right? You're going to be able to present your own projects, and you're going to be able to get feedback for it. So there's a lot of community that happens within these classes, right? We also allow people to work together on projects as well. So you can, if you're looking for a partner to build out some of these things with you, this is a great way to do that as well, right? So that's our live classes. It's live over Zoom, right? Then we also have our third plan here, which is our project help and tutoring plan. And this is if you want, so this is everything they get from before, right? So by the way, the live classes, you get access to self-directed. You get also all the future recordings of our classes, anything anything in the future, right, as well. So for example, you know, we're going to do a June class coming up. If we do this again in a year from now in June again, then you're going to get those recordings as well. And that's great because technology changes and things get upgraded. So you're going to have access to all that, right? The project help is, again, all of the above plus more, right? So you get all of that, plus you get one-on-one help with building out your algorithms, right? So if you need, if you want to have someone sit down with you to make sure that you're getting these things done correctly, if you want to have people, we even have a bunch of coders that can actually help you build out some things. If you actually want physically people writing code, we could do all that sort of thing for you. We'll spend, you know, an hour a week or half an hour a week, whatever it is that will get you to that point. And we'll really make sure that not only are you taking these live classes and they're going well, but then in addition, whatever it is that your specific project is, we'll give you a lot of additional help for that, right? Okay, so here's the pricing for all those plans. So once again, the self-directed is $650 approximately, right? And this is where you get basically access to all of our videos. You get to watch these videos and go through them on your own pace. Again, we'll help you out a little bit throughout this. You have access to our community, access to our Discord, but it's really more of a self-paced kind of learning. The live classes about $3,000, and this is basically you get this live environment where you get to ask other people, you get to ask the instructor questions about what's going on. You're stuck on a certain subject, you can ask questions throughout the class. Something's unclear, you can ask questions as well. And you get to know other people in the class, right? You get to show your project, which is really cool. You get to see other people's projects. You guys can share code. You guys can work on projects together if you like. And a lot of people actually end up doing that, is they build partnerships. And the truth is, actually, a lot of these people that go through our classes, they end up making friends that go on and they get to know each other over a long period of time. And you know, you never know who you meet, right? You might meet the next person that makes you a gajillionaire or whatever, right? But definitely a very good plan here and our most popular, right? And then again, the project help and tutoring is all of that. Plus, we're going to give you lots of personalized service. Think of this as like white glove service. We'll make sure that your algorithms are functioning properly. We'll get programmers involved if we need to. We'll spend as much time as we need, really, so that you learn this material and make sure that it's working properly for you. All right, and that's our project help and tutoring plan. All right. If you guys have any questions throughout, as I was saying before, we had a lot more people join, by the way. If you guys have any questions throughout, just feel free to use the Q&A or the chat, and you're going to be able to ask questions. I'll be answering throughout. So don't feel like you have to wait until the end, right? Okay, so let's talk about the course curriculum here. Basically what this course is all about. It's 3 parts, 12 weeks long. It's about an hour and a half per week for 12 weeks, right? And then we also expect you to obviously be doing additional work outside of that. We'll go through lectures. There's a lot of where we've become much more workshop focused, right? Where this is actually great, right? When you're part of our live classes, we're sitting there and we'll make sure that everyone's gotten set up, right? So it's not like, you know, you take these other classes like, yeah, let's just watch the video and that sort of thing. You can watch YouTube or whatever. You're really missing out on that workshop nature of this, right? It's the ability that if you're stuck with something, we'll help you out with that. We'll make sure that you're set up properly, or make sure that everything's going well for you, right? So you get 12 weeks of that, right? The first 4 weeks we call part 1. Okay, this is really kind of the introduction to so if you don't know how to code, we'll show you how to code. We have kind of a mix. We have people that know how to code and we have people that don't, right? So a lot of this is making sure that if you don't know how to code, we get you up to speed really quickly. If you do know how to code, we don't take so long in this that it's going to be a burden, right? So we'll teach you basically, we'll get your system all set up week 1. Everyone gets to know each other. It's a very nice kind of thing. We have an icebreaker. Everyone gets to know each other. It's really cool. Then we go over Python really quickly, right? We'll basically run through all the important concepts they need to know in Python, basically in one night, right? So it's a very fast overview of this. And then of course, you're going to be doing supplementary material throughout it as well. Then we're going to walk you through how to use Pandas, which is it is basically I should say it's the data science library that everyone uses. If you call yourself a data scientist and you don't know what Pandas is, I wouldn't call you a data scientist, truthfully, right? Because Pandas really is the de facto, especially when we use Python for data science. It's what allows you to, it's kind of like Excel on steroids, right? Imagine trying to do, any kind of, numerical operations or that sort of thing without Excel. That's basically what Pandas is for data science, right? We got a question here. Do we have to pay for Python and Pandas separately or in addition to the class itself? No. So everything is included in the class fees. You do not have to pay for anything in addition to the class fees. So the class fees are everything, right? Good question. Thank you. Okay, so we teach you Python, we teach you Pandas, and then we start teaching you how to apply all this data science stuff to finance. So we'll teach you how to download CSV files, how to work with financial data, all that sort of thing. And we start to get you into that, right? So it's an accelerated class on learning how to code and data scientists or data science at the very beginning. And then we really teach you how to apply that to the finance world. This first part really has a lot of assignments throughout. So you practice, and really get up to speed very quickly, right? It's amazing. We've had a lot of people in our class that don't know how to code, and they've really picked up quite fast. So it's a great way to learn how to code, and also a great way to build out a bot that's going to be making you some money. All right, so that's part one. Lots of assignments throughout that, and it's kind of like the intro, making sure that we're getting everyone up to speed and learning the basics, right? Part two is really when we dig into things, right? So this is where another 4 weeks. So the first one's 4 weeks. This one's another 4 weeks. This is where we really dig into how to apply data science to the world of finance, right? So teach you where and how to get this financial data, right? We'll teach you how to manipulate this data so you can understand kind of what's going on and how to come up with decisions from it, right? So for example, week one, we will teach you how to get data from the Federal Reserve. We'll teach you how to get data from Yahoo Finance, and we'll teach you how to use specific libraries that will get you much more data than that as well. Then week two, we teach you how to actually calculate your returns using compound annual growth rate, standard deviation, max drawdown, Sharpe ratios. These are kind of like financial metrics. So first of all, explaining what they are, if you're not familiar. And then once you know how they are, how to actually build it out in code so you can analyze your investments using code, right? And then we also get you started in something called backtesting. So just kind of like a show of hands or a little survey here. How many people here know what backtesting is or are familiar with backtesting? All right, we got another question here. Do you guys do only Yahoo Finance and Fred only? No, we do a lot more than that, Yemi. We do a lot more than just Yahoo Finance and Federal Reserve. We'll teach you how to get data from places like Alpha Vantage, from brokers. We'll teach you how to get there's a lot of different data that we can show you how to get, and we'll teach you how to use packages to actually find what you want. Right? I can't even tell you how many thousands of sources there are out there, but it's kind of like we just walk you through those because those are kind of some of the more popular ones, right? I've heard of it, but don't really understand it. No problem, Yemi. Or how to use my own personal analysis. Yeah. Okay, great. So back testing, and thank you for that, Monique. So back testing, what it is, right, is it's basically taking, you're going to have a strategy, right? So you're going to build out, this is my trading strategy. Let's say we have a strategy of something like, when the government is spending lots of money, I'm going to buy stocks, right? That's kind of what's happening right now. You see that the stock market is shooting up like crazy, and that's because, there's $6 trillion that's being spent, right? So let's say that's your trading strategy, right? So what I want to do to make sure that I'm actually right about this, and this makes sense as a trading strategy, is I'm going to go back the past 60 or 80 years, right? And I'm going to look over that past 60 and 80 years. Was I right in that assumption, right? Does my trading strategy work well over the past 60 years? And if it worked well over the past 60 years, we can make an assumption that's saying this will probably work well over the next 60 years, right? It's not perfect. We don't know exactly for sure, but it gives us a very, very strong indication. And it's much better than how most people trade, which is really just like on a whim, right? It's like, oh, I feel like this is a good idea, or I read in a book that this is a good idea. We're not about that here. We're all about understanding. Let's take data. Let's use data to make sure that we're making the right decisions, right? That's what this is all about, right? And you can do that when you're using code, right? And we're using data science techniques. Okay, so that's what backtesting is all about, is giving you more confidence that your trading strategy is correct and making sure that you're building something that actually is going to make you money in the long run, right? So we spend a lot of time doing backtesting over the next 3 days, essentially here, right? We'll spend time introducing you to the concept of backtesting here, and then we'll teach you how to backtest all sorts of different strategies. We have a library of, I think, 10 strategies and growing. We're actually building out some options trading strategies now as well. And we'll show you basically how would that have worked over a long period of time? Would those strategies have worked? Is this a good idea for you to get into, right? So that's what this second part really is all about. And you're actually going to be building out a project throughout this entire thing as well, and watching other people's presentations on what they're looking at, what kind of investment strategies they're looking to do, what kind of analysis have they made, and that sort of thing. So it's very communal, and you're going to be building out this project throughout this entire second part, right? Okay, so that's the next 4 weeks. The last 4 weeks is part 3. And part 3 is all about making sure that you have a working trading bot, right? So one thing, actually, something that if you guys want to join in our June session, I have a little treat for you guys as well, is we're going to be adding in options trading as well, right? So we're going to have a class or two that actually shows you how to trade options, right? We're gonna, in past classes, we show you how to trade stocks. We show you how to actually build these trading robots to trade stocks and ETFs and that sort of thing. For you guys, you'll be able to actually trade options as well. So you'll have the access to that, right? So that's what part 4 is all about. It's about taking that analysis that you did in part 2. What are some good strategies? What are some things that you back tested? Is this a good idea or not? And then part 3, you're going to actually build this thing out, and you're going to see actual trading. It's actually really cool. I'm teaching a class tonight where they're in part 3. Everyone's super excited, and they're like all amped up. They have their bots working, they have their trades actually going. It's really, really fun seeing that sort of thing and seeing the excitement on people's faces, building these things out. It's really cool when you actually see your own bot trading and making you money, like when you're not even there. It's a lot of fun doing that. So that's what part 3 is all about. It's building out that trading robot. And again, we say setting up Alpaca, working with Alpaca. It's one of the brokers we use. We're also going to be doing interactive brokers as well with you guys if you join in June. All right. Okay. And then part 4, another thing that we go into, week 3 of part 3, or week 4 of part 3. We also teach you a little bit about machine learning. So if that's something that you're interested in, we're going to be covering a little bit of that as well. All right. Very cool. And then again, so we have 2 projects that go through this entire thing. The 2 projects is in part 2, it's analyzing investment strategies, back testing, doing all that sort of thing, making sure that your strategy is actually going to be working and making you money. And then project 2 is about actually executing on that and having a bot that works and trades and is making you money as you go. All right. Okay, so we have 2 classes coming up, right, for our live classes. We have one coming up in June. Registration closes June 10th, and the class starts on June 24th. It goes for 12 weeks long, right, excluding holiday breaks, right? And it is 8 to 12 hours per week is what we recommend in terms of your efforts. If you're new to coding, it's going to be a little bit on the higher end. If you know how to code, it might be a little less than that, right? It just kind of depends on your experience there, right? And then the class will be going every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific, right? And again, it's about 1.5 hours per week. Sometimes it goes to 2 hours. It depends on the day, really, and how many questions everyone has. But it's about 1.5 hours per week, live over Zoom. You can ask questions throughout, just like you guys are asking questions now through chat. Imagine you can, like, your mic's on, video on. You can actually physically ask questions if that's what you want to do, and really suck in all that knowledge, right? So that's our upcoming class in June. Then we have another one that's starting in August, right? Registration closes August 11th, and the course actually starts on August 25th. That one is also 12 weeks long, same thing, 8 to 12 hours per week we recommend. And then this one is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific. So the June one is every Thursday at 8 p.m. August one is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And again, same thing, about an hour and a half per week live over Zoom, right? We've already talked about the course projects. These are two great projects that are going to come out. By the way, not only is this good for your investing, it's also good for your career. There's a lot of people that go through our classes, and actually it's funny how a lot of people will say, you know, I was having trouble finding a job and that sort of thing. Or you know, they're trying to upgrade their career, they're trying to get a better job, that sort of thing. Putting this stuff on your resume really helps a lot. You know what I mean? Not only are you going to have something that's going to be making you money on the side, but it's also something that when you put on your resume, employers are very interested in this. You know, Python data science are some of the best jobs in the world right now, pay very well. I think the average salary for a data scientist is around 140 grand a year. So take that as food for thought, because it's definitely something that is a huge additional benefit that a lot of people get, right? Here's a little bit about myself. And then you could also read or watch a lot of our testimonials here. These are some of our past students. We need to add in a couple more. We haven't gotten a few for a while, but here's 3 different reviews. If you want to actually, if you want to talk to some of our students as well, you could join us on Discord. And I'll show you exactly how we do that in a second. But you can basically talk to people on Discord, some of our past students, ask them questions, or if you just want to watch the videos, you can watch it here. And let me show you how to get here specifically. There's a few different ways you can see our testimonials, but basically you go to lumiwealth.com, right? LUMI wealth.com, right? There's a little logo. If you scroll to the bottom of our main page, you can see a bunch of testimonials, right? These are all these things. Feel free to watch them. This is people that have built out bots, have taken past courses. They're also on our Discord channel as well, so you can speak to a lot of these people there, right? And then just to show you kind of all of our courses, we're actually adding in a 3rd course very soon. We have our algorithmic trading course, which is the one that we're talking about here. If you want, you could click on this. This is the page I was just taking you through. It's this page right here, where it has all the information if you want to read over it yourself afterwards, right? We also have a machine learning course, which is also starting in June as well. If you're interested in machine learning and like really figuring out ways to amp up your returns, this is a very interesting class taught by a very smart individual. Then we have our design, development, and consulting services. If you want us to just actually build something for you, right? Sometimes people, you know, they don't have the time or whatever. They want us to just build it for them. We can do that as well. And then very shortly, probably within the next few weeks, actually, we're going to be adding on a course that's specifically geared towards options trading, right? So to enable you, to show you how to build a robot that can buy and sell options automatically. And if you guys know anything about options trading, there's a lot of money to be made in this field. And it's actually very difficult to do manually. So it actually lends itself really well towards automated trading. All right. So I got a couple questions here in the chat. Do you have classes that also deep dive into ML as well? I watched one video from one of your students on Discord and I am very impressed. Great. Thank you, Yemi. Thank you. Yeah, so this is the class on machine learning. Yes. So if you go to lumiwealth.com, this is that class on machine learning. You could read all about it. We're going to be doing a webinar on this, I think in 2 weeks or something like that. So if you're interested in that, you could definitely watch that machine learning webinar. You know, depending on kind of your coding experience, the ML class is a little bit more advanced, right? So we recommend, if you don't have a lot of coding experience, either take our algo trading class first, right? Yeah, so the ML class is incorporated with the other classes. Yeah, so it's teaching you kind of how to do the machine learning aspect of it, right? So I'd recommend, if you don't have a lot of coding experience, again, take the algo trading class first and then take the machine learning class. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit more of an advanced course. And again, we're also going to be adding in the options trading course soon as well. All right, cool. So thank you for those questions, Yemi. Great. Okay, so that's a little bit about our classes and kind of what we do. Right. Again, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask questions throughout. You know, our next class doesn't start until June, but our classes do sell out quite often. Right. So make sure they sign up. Don't wait until June. Right. Classes do sell out quite often. And if you sign up now, you also get access to all the class recordings and all that kind of stuff to get you a head start on everything, right? So if this is something that you're very serious about and you want to get good at this, I'd highly recommend that you sign up now so that you can get started on everything. You're going to automatically immediately get access to all the past recordings so you can get started, right? And then when we get going in June with our live classes, you're going to be ahead of the curve and you're really going to get the most out of the class. So I definitely recommend that. I mentioned this at the beginning of our webinar here, but make sure you follow us on YouTube. This class, what we're doing right now, this webinar is live on YouTube. So, if you subscribe to us on YouTube, you're going to be able to get access to all the future stuff like this, but you're also going to get this one here recorded as well. So if you want to get the recording here, this is where you want to go. You want to go to our YouTube channel, which is Lumiwealth on YouTube, right? Also, you want to sign up for our Discord channel, right? Here's the link. I'm gonna paste this into our chat just so you guys have access to this, because you guys can go through. So here you go. I'm gonna post this to everybody. I don't know. There you go. Okay. So there's a link to our Discord. If you're not on it yet, I'd highly recommend that you guys join our Discord, which is over here. Very active community, very vibrant. It's fantastic. I love how many people are on here. Everyone talks about everything from crypto to stocks to different strategies. We have a lot of our alumni on here, so you can ask them questions about how the classes went for them, right? You can ask people about what algorithms they built. There's a bunch of people here on our community, so it's a very good thing to be part of, and also very interesting discussions. I'm always very entertained reading through some of these things. So definitely make sure that you join us on Discord as well. And there's that link there. You just click on that link and get registered, right? And just kind of summarize, Discord is kind of like a chat group, right? So it's like, this is something that's become very popular lately, and I understand fully why, as like the Telegrams or the Slack or something like that. It's very similar to Slack is what this is, right? Okay, and then we're also going to send out a survey at the end of the webinar. Make sure you fill out that survey because we always want to get feedback. This is how we get better as a company and how our classes get better, how our webinars get better. Please make sure you give us that feedback so that we can keep doing better things for you, right? There's a chat here from Yemi. I will record folks joining Discord because I have had doubts clarified from this chat a lot. I will recommend. Yeah, thank you, Yemi. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Discord is absolutely great. Make sure that you join our community because you can talk to a lot of people there and ask them questions about, how did you find the classes, or even just talk about stocks in general. But there's definitely a lot of our alumni on there that I think you guys would be very interested in speaking with. Right? Thank you for that, Yemi. Okay, cool. All right, so that's it kind of for a little introduction there. Let's jump into kind of what this is all about. All right. So algorithmic trading, what is it? Why do we care? All right. So first of all, algorithmic trading is using software to analyze data and then make trades for you, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be trading for you. There's some people I know in our classes that, they don't want this thing buying and selling for them automatically. They want to do the research and then have like a text message go out to them and tell them to buy. That's fine as well, right? Most people, I think, though, are looking to actually have this thing automatically trade for them, right? Both are considered a form of algorithmic trading. Yeah. So why do we care about this? Why does this matter? Well, just like software is dominating kind of the entire rest of the world, algorithms are also dominating the world of finance. I think it's something like 75% of all trades are made by algorithms. I don't know if you guys knew that. So if you guys are trading stocks, you guys are actually not trading against other people. You're trading against algorithms for the most part, right? So who do you think has the advantage there, right? Like we're talking about, chess players, right? When you're playing chess against a robot, who do you think is going to win, right? It's the same sort of thing with the stock market, and the algorithms are doing extremely well, right? We know that because of the companies that are working in this space, right? So for example, Renaissance Technologies, right? This is probably, I think, one of the biggest hedge funds on the planet, okay? Started by a guy named Jim Simmons, really smart guy. And basically what they have is a bunch of algorithms that will automatically buy and sell these things. Exactly these algorithms that we look to build, right? The types of algorithms that we build in our classes, right? And all they do is just buy and sell stocks automatically based on predefined algorithms, machine learning, all that kind of stuff, right? And these guys, last time I checked, and there's probably a lot more than this now, to be honest with you, it was 110 billion in assets is what they had. Again, one of the biggest funds in the world. These guys, so their medallion fund was making 39% per year returns. And this is with very low volatility. Like they don't lose money, right? They only make money and they're making 40% of your returns. I know this past year has been a little crazy for the market and you see these things of 10,000%, that sort of thing. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about they're making this crazy bets on things and just huge returns. I'm saying consistently every year, 40% consistently. These guys don't lose money, okay? So to put that into perspective, what does that mean? 39% a year? That is an incredible amount of money. So put it this way. If you put in $1,000 and invested it for 30 years, at 39%, you'd end up with 24 million bucks. This would literally, like this life-changing money. These guys are making so much cash. Like the book is actually really interesting. It's called The Man Who Solved the Markets. It's about Jim Simmons and Renaissance. These guys are making so much money. They're just like buying homes and like giant mansions for fun. They're like, it's absolutely absurd how much money these guys are making. Imagine being able to build or buy a $10 million mansion and like forget it even existed, right? That's how much money these guys are making. So it's absolutely ridiculous the types of returns these guys are making. But they're not alone. They're not the only ones, right? So some other hedge funds have done very well. 2 Sigma, right? These guys, last time I checked, I probably got to update these numbers because it's probably much higher now. 2 Sigma, they do the same sort of thing. They have algorithms that automatically buy and sell and make them tons of money. These guys are making probably double the stock market returns, right? Last time I checked, is about double what the stock market makes. They do. Citadel, same thing, right? Algorithmic trading, they're using machines to automatically trade things. These guys are making crazy returns as well. Bridgewater, if you guys are familiar with Ray Dalio, right? He's been very outspoken lately on media and all that sort of thing. They do the exact same thing. They have algorithms that are basically looking at data for them, and it's helping them make these decisions on whether they buy this or that, right? These guys, last time I checked, had about 140 billion in assets. D.E. Shaw is another one, right? D.E. Shaw, these guys have about 50 billion in assets. They do the same type of algorithmic trading as well. And a fun fact about D.E. Shaw is actually someone that you guys know very well, used to work here, and that's Jeff Bezos, right? So Jeff Bezos actually made a start at D.E. Shaw before he actually started Amazon. So all these algorithms and everything that they've built in Amazon, actually a lot of those insights came from D.E. Shaw, right? So all very successful hedge funds. Pretty much, if you're not doing algo trading, you're probably not doing so well as a hedge fund, and generally speaking, right? All these guys are just killing it, making huge amounts of money, whereas a lot of the other hedge fund industry is kind of starting to go away, right? Because of all, like, there's way too many fees, that sort of thing. But these guys, all the algo traders, they're the ones doing very, very well, right? They also pay very good salaries if that's something you're interested in. I think their average salary base was 350 grand a year. That does not include bonuses, right? With bonuses is easily over $1 million, right? So these guys pay very, very well. It's a very hard job to get, but they also do pay very, very well. And again, there's a mix here, right? So for example, 2 Sigma, these guys have algos trading everything for them, right? People don't really do anything. Whereas Bridgewater uses the algorithms to kind of inform their decisions, and then they actually have a person manually trading. So you could do either one with what we're going through the course here. You can use it to make your analysis and figure out how you want to trade, or you could also just have the algorithms actually trade for you, right? So there's the 2 kind of things that you can do with these types of algorithms in data science, right? Okay, so here are some of our returns that we've made. This is one of our portfolios. We've actually made a lot more money in some of our other portfolios, but here's one that I took a screenshot of once. I should probably take a screenshot of some of our other ones because they're even more impressive than this. But this is kind of last year's return. This is when the S&P 500 made 17%. We made 53%, right? So we tripled the stock market's returns over that year. And that's because we were looking at all this data. We're able to say, make sure that we're diversified in most situations. When the stock market fell apart, we're in a very good position, right? We're able to actually jump in and buy a lot of tech stocks. we're able to make some very good decisions based on this data that we have, right? And same thing with again, we manage money for several different portfolios. This is just one of them. The other ones have done even better than this. So this is a little bit of our returns. All right, okay, so let's jump into the code. I know this is what you guys are probably most excited about, right? So let's talk about some of the tools we'll be using to show off kind of how all this stuff works. We're going to be using Alpaca as our broker. I think our next webinar that we're going to do, I'm going to show you guys Alpaca, and I'm going to show you interactive brokers, which is going to be doing these are two main brokers that we work with. We can work with more, but they're kind of the two that we focus on. Right, so Alpaca being very good because they're kind of like the Robinhood, free trades, very easy to use, and have API support. Right, interactive brokers, you guys are probably more familiar with. These guys are probably one of the best brokers in the world, and they have a lot of different things that they can trade and do. So options trading, futures trading, all that kind of stuff. And we'll be showing you that actually in 2 weeks from now. So make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, and we'll be putting up videos on that as well. Okay. We're also going to be using Python, specifically Python 3, it's the latest, right? Pandas, as I was talking about before, king of data science, right? This is how we're going to be analyzing a lot of these things within our code. And we're also going to be using Visual Studio Code, which is how we actually, it's like a code editor, right? It's like our text editor. Okay. Here's a little bit about our code. If you guys are interested, we have an open source library. So you know that we're not making this stuff up, that we actually talk our game. We have an open source library out here. It's very quickly becoming one of the best libraries in the world when it comes for algorithmic trading, growing very, very quickly. And we have lots of capabilities that a lot of other people cannot do, right? So this is our library, Lumibot. When you take our courses, we're going to show you how to use this to really accelerate you being able to build these bots. Instead of building it from scratch, which is going to take you forever, right? When we first started teaching these classes, we taught people from scratch, and it was very difficult for people to get to a point where they had a working robot. There's really only the very good coders that were able to do that. But now that we have this technology, we give you this as well with our class. Even if you don't know how to code, we can get you to a point where you have a working trading robot, right? And that's using this kind of technology. So if you want to go in, you could see our Lumibot code. You could read through it. If you're advanced coding, you could try to set it up on your computer as well. We have a little quick start guide on how to do that here. And there's a bunch of stuff that we explain to you. This is our documentation on how it all works and whatnot. In our classes, we really go into detail on how to go through this and make sure that it's actually trading for you. This is all free, by the way. Again, just because we had that question earlier, we don't charge you for anything else other than the fees for the classes, right? Okay, so that's our code that we have there. You can read through that if you want. We have a lot of example strategies in there. They can kind of copy. We have strategies. I'm going to show you a couple of them today. We have strategies, everything from using macroeconomic data to using technical analysis. We're adding in strategies on options trading, doing like selling puts, all that kind of stuff, scalping. There's like lots and lots of different example strategies that we walk you through in our classes, right? It's really easy to add in data sources and brokers. So if you don't want to use interactive brokers or Alpaca, we can add in more. It's very easy. And then the most important thing here is it's very easy to build your own strategy, right? This is not rocket science, and I'm going to show you how to do this. If you don't know how to code, it might look a little crazy to you, but believe me, after 12 weeks, you'll be able to build your own bot. This is not at all that difficult to do, right? Especially using our technology, right? And another really important thing is not only does this code enable you to trade, but also enables you to back test first, right? So your same code that you built with your bot for your bot is the same code that you're going to be back testing with. So you're going to write out your strategy. You're going to back test it. Check, would this have worked over the past 20 years? And if the answer is yes, we're a go, you can actually run it and trade with it, right? So I'll show you how all that works as well. All right, cool. So let's jump into the demo. A couple of points here before we do that. We're going to be covering these strategies here. I'm going to explain them as we go through them. These are all the strategies that we're doing. You'll be doing momentum, intraday momentum, diversification, debt trading, and technical analysis. We're going to run through all those strategies. And then, throughout the course, we're going to be teaching you, this is almost like a little mini course showing you kind of how it works and whatnot. But when we go through classes, we're going to go through all this stuff in really, really intricate detail. We're going to show you how to figure out, is this the right strategy for you? How to do the analysis and see how to do all sort of thing, how to back test, how to actually run this thing, how to set it all up, everything we're going to go through with you, right? Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into the code, okay? So here's a little broker here, fake money. This is just paper trading money. It's not a real account, okay? Because, you know, we do little demos and whatever, right? And let's show you kind of our code here, okay? So first thing I'm going to show you is our intraday momentum strategy. This one I want to show you because it's always fun to watch trade. I'm going to run it. Basically what it does, okay, so we're going to go here. We saw that we had nothing before. Now it bought Tesla automatically, right? So it's very cool. I didn't touch anything. I didn't trade anything. It automatically bought Tesla for us, okay? So keep that in mind. So you own Tesla right now, okay? Why did it buy Tesla, right? Why did this algorithm buy Tesla? Well, generally what this algorithm does is it looks at these 5 symbols, SPY, gold, TLT, Microsoft, and Tesla. You could very easily add your own, right? Like if, you know, what do you guys want to add here? We can add in DJP. We can add in any other symbols you guys want to trade off of. If you guys want to write in the chat, I could add more to this as well. But basically, it's very easy to add in, very easy to modify. These are like example strategies they can mess around with, right? I'm going to add in a few more. Apple, right? And we'll add in, what are some other fun ones? We could put in like the double negative ones and stuff like that, which are, you know, fun to watch. But basically what this is doing, okay, so now it's switched over. It sold the Tesla. Okay, we'll go back here. We'll see it. There you go. Automatically, it sold Tesla and it bought Microsoft, right? So why did it do that, right? And it's going to be doing this all day long. It's going to be analyzing these stocks, okay? You can make it analyze based on almost any criteria, really, right? We have students that analyze based on technical analysis, based on, you know, earnings reports that come out, based on people talking about things on Reddit, right? Like Reddit made GameStop go through the roof a couple months back. You could do the same thing. You could be analyzing Reddit and seeing exactly how that's going to impact your trades. You could do all that sort of stuff, right? And basically, this is a really simple one that we're doing here. And so all it's doing is looking at which of these symbols up here has performed the best over the past 2 minutes. So first one did it, SPY had a return of 0.05, gold had a return of 0.03 over a 2-minute interval, right? Tesla had a return of 0.06. Because Tesla had the highest return, it bought Tesla. It's a momentum strategy, right? We're saying the stock that did the best, we're going to keep buying that stock, right? And then it reassesses that again. 1 minute later, it reassesses it. Okay, now which one's doing the best? Well, the reason why I bought Microsoft is because it was up 0.7%, whereas Tesla was down actually 0.1%, right? So now it went and said, let's buy Microsoft instead. So it swapped it out, right? And now when we're going through this again here, we said Microsoft is still at the top. It's still doing the best over the past 2 minutes. So it kept Microsoft and we're still holding on to it, right? So that's essentially what it's going to be doing all day long. It's just analyzing these stocks. And again, you could switch this over to be whatever else you want. You could look at, you know, technical analysis. You could look at, you know, moving averages, crossing, things like that. You can look at RSIs, right? You could look at earnings reports that are coming out. You could look at how are people talking about this on social media, on Twitter. There you go, switched out. Now we own TLT. So yeah, automatically all day long, it's just going to do this for us, right? So any of the trading strategies that you guys want to do, you could do all that through this. Yeah. So that's our one strategy. That's our intraday momentum strategy. Okay. Let me show you another one here. Okay. Another one that we have is our momentum strategy. Okay. So this one is very similar to that intraday momentum strategy. The difference is though, that this one, instead of trading throughout the entire day, it's only going to trade once a day, right? So it's not going to be like the pattern day trader kind of stuff. This is going to be something that just looks at how are things performing over the past 1 day, and buy that stock the next day. Okay. So when I ran this, another thing that it did as well is it actually performed a back test up front, right? So first thing it did is it back tested and said, okay, our strategy here that we have, this momentum strategy, where basically we buy the stock that's performing the best over the past, you know, it's actually from 3 symbols, SPY, VEU, AGG. Which one of those performed the best over the past 2 days? and then pick that one and hold on to it, and then just trade that for the day and then wait until the next day, right? That's the strategy. We back tested it, and when we back tested it, we saw this strategy, and specifically we back tested it over this time period from 2018 January 1st to 2019 January 1st. Over that time period, the strategy did very well versus S&P 500. So we see that we got a compound annual growth rate of about 7%, and that's versus our benchmark, which is S&P 500, did -3% over the time period. So this is another thing we teach in class, by the way. Whenever you have a strategy, you always need to compare that strategy towards some sort of a benchmark, right? So in this case, we're using the S&P 500 as a benchmark, right? And can we outperform the S&P 500? In this case, we outperformed it by quite a bit. We outperformed by almost 10%, or actually more than 10%, right? Because S&P 500 was down 3.5%. We were up 7%. We also did that with less volatility, taking on less risk, right? We had a volatility of 10%, or a standard deviation of 10%, versus a volatility of 17% for the stock market, or S&P 500, right? So we getting higher returns with less risk, which means that we have a higher Sharpe ratio, right? That's basically, Sharpe ratio is the ratio of risk to return, essentially. And then we also had a much lower max drawdown, right? So our chance of losing money is actually much lower as well, right? So we're making more money, it's less volatile, it's moving less, right? So we sleep better at night. But then also the worst case scenario, and the max loss being from the peak, from the very big top to the very bottom, how much money did it lose, right? So for example, last year, the S&P 500 lost peak to trough around 30-something%. That was around March when everything went crazy and everyone's worried about coronavirus. That was about a 30% something loss, right? Over this time period that we looked over, the 2018 time period, the S&P fell at 1.18%. That was the worst case scenario for the S&P 500. Ours only fell 9.5%. So we're making more money and we're taking on less risk. Sounds like a great deal to me, right? So that was our back test. Okay. And then once it did the back test, now it's actually running the strategy itself. So when we go in here, we see that it bought something. We'll give it a second. There you go. It bought SPY. Okay. And the reason why I bought SPY is because it was the one that did the best over the past one day. So yesterday, VEU did about 0.5% return. AGG did about 0.16, but SPY did 1.4. So we decided to buy that, and we're buying that because it's up the most over the past day. All right. Okay, cool. So that's our second strategy. Let's show you a couple more. All right, so I'm going to open up. These are some of our more advanced strategies, and the ones that actually work really well as well. So let's go over our diversification strategy. So if we're talking about reducing risk, this is a great way to reduce risk. This is something that Ray Dalio actually recommends. Okay, so Ray Dalio recommends doing this kind of diversification strategy, right? Where you basically, and we'll go back here. We see that we sold everything. These things are automatically trading for us. We're not doing any of these things on purpose, right? Or sorry, the algorithm is doing it for us, right? So we're back testing this strategy first, right? First, we're saying how would this strategy have performed over this past time frame? So from 2010 January 1st to 2021 January 1st, over that 11-time-year span, how would this strategy have performed? And what is this strategy specifically? Okay, so strategy is basically we own these 5 assets. This is something that Ray Dalio recommends. Okay, he recommends this strategy. 5 assets: SPY, TLT, IEF, gold, and DJP. So it's basically stocks, long-term bonds, medium-term bonds, gold, and commodities, right? All 5 of those things, okay? And this specific ratio, 30% into stocks, 40% into long-term bonds, 15% to intermediate-term bonds, 7.5% gold, and 7.5% commodities, okay? So diversifying into each of those 5, right? And then that's what that's all about, is reducing our risk. So this is one of those portfolios that you're going to be able to sleep really, really well at night. and you're not going to have to worry about what's happening to my money, right? It also gives you some opportunity to leverage as well, right? So a smart thing to do using something like this is to actually leverage a little bit on top of this, right? Where you can really get amazing returns risk adjusted, right? And that's really what the name of the game is. So we look here, automatically bought all these things for us, right? We'll give it a second. There you go. So automatically bought all these for us. It took a $50,000 budget, automatically split it up between all those stocks, right? You see here that TLT is the biggest holding, SPY is the second biggest, and it's holding on to all those. It will automatically rebalance this on a daily basis, right? You can change that to rebalance every month if you want, very easy, right? And then let's take a look at the back testing results, right? So again, this is very important to go through this first before you run any kind of strategies, right? So what we're doing here is we got our compounding annual growth rate is 11% over this time period versus 16% for the stock market. So fine, stock market did better than us in this situation, right? But the thing is that we had a significantly lower risk. Our volatility was only about 7% versus S&P 500, which is 17%, right? So we're taking like a third of the risk, okay? And because of that, we have a much higher Sharpe ratio, and our max drawdown, our max loss was only 13%, whereas the S&P 500 lost 33%. That was the worst time period. That was actually last year, right? So we actually, a big reason why our portfolio did very well is because we were following a strategy sort of similar to this, right? Where, normal times are kind of well diversified, and then we spring into action when things change, right? That's kind of our strategy. And because of that, we didn't lose a lot of money, but then we're also able to make a ton of money on the way out. That's how we actually made a bunch of money in that portfolio I showed you earlier, right? So you can see here that this is a strategy that really reduces your risk a lot. So you can do things like you can invest in this strategy on a normal case, and then when things change, you invest in some different kind of strategy. There's a lot of like really cool things they could do here to mix this up, right? And that's kind of what Ray Dalio does, right? You could also, because this is such a low risk, because your max loss here is only 13%, you could actually leverage this a little bit. So you could turn this 11% pretty easily into 20%, right? Just using a little bit of leverage, right? So definitely a very interesting strategy to use, right? Because of the risk profile of it specifically. There's a way to reduce your risk really well. Okay, so that's the diversification strategy, right? Let's show you a few more. Okay, so another strategy that we have is our, let's go over our technical analysis strategy. This is one that is quite popular with a lot of people. So I'm going to run this. It's going to back test. Okay? And then in the meantime, there's a chat here. Can you use these strategies for options? Yes, you absolutely can. Yeah. So if you guys sign up for our June course, you're going to have options in it as well. We're literally just finished adding options. So this is actually like a brand new thing for you guys that are going to be signing up. This is something that our past classes didn't have. You guys are actually going to have access to options as well. And we're going to show you how to do that, right, in our live classes. And we'll show you how to do that with interactive brokers. And we'll show you many different strategies of options trading, right? So yes, you can absolutely do that. If you're interested, we're also going to be building out a course specifically on options trading soon that will really go into detail, right? We'll show you how to do it in our algo trading course, but we're building one that's going to be like only about options trading, right? So thank you for that question, Monique. Appreciate that. Okay, so we're back testing this strategy here, the technical analysis strategy, and let me tell you kind of what it does, right? So this technical analysis strategy, basically what it does is it looks at two different assets, SPY and TLT, okay? And it's basically saying, let's have them, so the kind of typical mix that people say that you should have is 60-40, 60% stocks, 40% bonds. So it's this here, right? So 60% SPY, 40% TLT. That performs quite well, generally speaking. But we're going to take that and we're going to modify it even more. Okay, and what we do is we're looking at something called RSI, right? It's a relative strength index. Okay, it's a type of technical indicator, right? And what we're doing is we're looking at the RSI on the S&P 500. Okay, and basically when RSI is high, we're generally saying something is overbought, right? It means that things are overheating, and it's probably we've probably gone a little too far, right? And when RSI is low, it probably means it's oversold. So a good example of when RSI was very low was last year around March. RSI sunk into like the 20s, and that was just like a massive buy signal, right? And then a little bit earlier in this year, S&P 500 was looking overbought, right? So that's when we were saying we adjust that, okay? So based on that indicator, the RSI, we're changing our weighting, right? So we're going from being 60-40 in normal situations, and then when it's overbought, we go all into bonds, right? We're like, okay, stocks look overbought, let's just go into bonds and wait a bit, right? And then when it's oversold, right, then we'll do the opposite. We'll go all into stocks, right? We'll go 100% to stocks, 0 bonds, right? And then in normal case, we'll go back to 60-40, right? That's basically what we're doing. So we're just adjusting our weighting based on the RSI, right? So this strategy actually performs quite well, right? So when we look over a longer time period, we see that we got an 18% return for this strategy versus the 16% return that the stock market did over the same time period. So we're making an extra 2%. By the way, that 2% adds up to a lot over a long period of time. If you guys know anything about compound interest, that 2% can mean an extra $500,000 for you in the long run, right? So we're making more money, but not only are we making more money, but we're also taking on less risk. And I think that's very important, right? We have volatility of 14% versus 17%, which means you sleep better at night, which means you could even leverage this a little bit as well. You can borrow money, put it into that. And we also have a much lower max drawdown. So our biggest loss was only 20% versus the biggest loss for the S&P 500 is 33. So if you're doing this strategy last year, everyone around you would have been panicking and, oh my goodness, we're all losing money. And you would have been nice and calm. Yeah, we're okay. We're fine. You know, that's basically what this strategy would be like. And you're making a lot more money as well. You're making that extra 2%. So definitely a very good strategy, right? Okay. And when we look here, we'll see that I actually started trading as well. And what is it saying right now? It's saying right now, things are kind of normal, right? Go 60-40. So we have 60% of our money in SPY, 40% of our money in TLT. All right. Cool. Okay. So that's our technical analysis strategy. And let me show you one more before we end it for today. So our last strategy here is our debt trading strategy. Okay. And I'm going to run that as well here. And we're going to run that back test while this is going. So run, there you go. Okay, we also got a chat here, got a question. So Monique asks, okay, options, straight call, put, no spreads or condor. Is that what would be doable? You also use ATR as a strategy. Sorry for so many questions. No, great questions. Thank you, Monique. These are great questions. So option strategies, we're adding in a lot of different option strategies, right? So spreads or iron corner, I mean, we could build out as many of these as you want. We're going to show you, we're just getting started in the options thing. If you want, we could actually build out specific strategies for you, the ones that you're looking for, because we need to start building out a library of options trading strategies. So if there's a couple that you want, please let me know and we could actually build those. So when you do when we get to this part in the course with you, you'll actually be able to see that, right? And then ATR, yeah, we could definitely use ATR. It's just another technical indicator. Very easy for us to use something like ATR. The one that I just showed you last, the technical analysis, very easy to modify that, right? To be ATR instead of being you know, RSI or anything else. Very easy to modify, right? So definitely, we're gonna have a lot of option strategies. If you want specific ones, just let us know and we can make sure that they're available for you when we get to this part of the course, right? Because we're building out our library. Yeah, no problem, Monique. And then Norbert asks, so you guys teach the entire Python and then Pandas for people with no programming background? Yes, that's correct. So even if you don't know how to code, we will definitely teach you how to code as well, right? So we'll teach you from scratch how to learn Python, or we'll teach you Python, we'll teach you data science. So not only is this a great class for building out trading algorithms, but it's also a great way to like learn how to code, which is obviously an incredibly valuable skill. Will it work for crypto? Is there not enough historical data? You could definitely modify this for crypto. We don't explicitly do that yet. We plan on getting into that. But if you want to do that sort of thing, we could definitely help you with adding in some crypto brokers as well. It's not very hard to add in. We actually have one of our past students. I think you might have seen him if you're on Discord. Sintayan's actually working on adding in crypto capabilities right now into the bot. So we will have that soon in the future. It's not currently available, but it will be soon. Right? Thank you for that question. All right, so I'm taking a look here. Basically our strategy, it looks like, and this is this is my fault here. We essentially have too many people using our APIs. I could fix this, but I don't know if you guys want to wait for me to do this. Yeah, basically what happened here is we use something called Quandle to get our data, and we just used it a bit too much today. And they kind of cut us off and said, you know, you're using this too much. And that's really because I give my keys out to everyone in the class, and I bet you there's maybe 100 different people using it right now. So it makes me think I need to change our key. So I won't be able to show you this strategy right now, but I can tell you a little bit about it. It's very similar to our technical analysis strategy in that basically we have everything 60-40 on a regular situation, right? We'll have, you know, 60% stocks, 40% bonds. And then we basically trade based on the, based on how much money the government is spending, right? So we're looking at a macroeconomic indicator specifically to deal with debt, right? So we're looking at how much government debt does the US have? And based on how much debt we have that is coming in, it's going to trade based on that, right? So we could say right now, they'll probably be pretty heavy into stocks because the government is spending a lot of money, right? And when it spends a lot of money, stocks tend to do very well, right? So that's kind of what the strategy does. And this one's also very, quite a good strategy. I wish I could show you this. After this, I'm going to change my API key so other people stop using them. So I could actually demo these types of things to you guys. But basically, you know, this strategy, same as the one in technical analysis, beats the stock market with a much lower risk as well. And it's a very cool strategy to use. So we have some questions here. Will it work for crypto? Which crypto broker would you use? So crypto brokers are actually very easy to connect to, right? We're planning on using something called CCXT, which is going to allow us to connect to, you know, 50 different brokers, right? You know, probably the ones that you're most interested in are like Kraken and Binance, right? Those are probably the most popular ones and probably going to be our focus, right? But we're building it in such a way that it makes it very easy to work with all these different crypto brokers, right? So you don't have to worry about which one. And actually, some things that you'll be able to do too is you'll be able to like trade from one broker to the other, right? You'll be able to go from Binance to trade to Kraken, and you can actually take advantage of like arbitrage opportunities. We can build that capability in as well, and that's what we're working towards in our crypto. All right. So thank you for that question. All right, cool. Okay, so that's all of our strategies here. I wish I could show you the debt trading. I'm going to change my API keys. I need to just, you know, I've just used it too much today. They're just saying stop hitting our servers so often. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this. What do you guys think about all these strategies? You know, I'd love to get you guys feedback. Right? What do you guys think about all these strategies? What other strategies would you like to see too? Because we're building tons of these, right? And I want to have all these strategies available for you guys when you're going through these classes so that you can actually take these, modify them, make them exactly the way that you want them. We're actually also, by the way, and this is a little bit future about our company, is we're putting together like a little website where you'll be actually even pick each one of these strategies and just trade with them on our servers, right? So we're going to be building out that soon as well. So keep an eye out. All right. Cool. Okay, so that's basically our demo for today, showing you kind of how all this works. What questions do you guys have for me? All right, I know you guys have been asking questions throughout, but here's a time where you guys can actually jump in and really ask any questions that you have. And I'll give you guys a little bit of time to write these out because I know sometimes it takes a little bit of time to write out these questions, right? So I'll give you guys a little bit. This, by the way, this presentation, again, going to be on YouTube. I'm going to add the link to the actual presentation on our YouTube. You can also watch some of our past ones. So if I go into like, we do these every 2 weeks. So if you click on one of the old ones, you can actually see here, there's a link there to our Google Doc presentation. Actually, you know what? Let me even share this with you guys in the chat. Maybe they'll make your lives even easier. Let's make you guys have less work to do, right? So I'm going to share this here. Share, right? So if you guys want to look through our presentation, you'll get a chance to do that here as well, right? Okay, there's the presentation, right? What else can I tell you guys about while you put together your questions? So this is our, again, if you go to lumiwealth.com, you could check out everything on our website, lumiwealth.com. Basically, you scroll down a little bit, and this is all of our courses here. You could read a lot of our testimonials when you go a little further down, right? And then if you want to learn more about our courses, this is the one that we've been talking about all day today. We also have our machine learning course, okay? Then click on any one of these courses and learn more about it there as well. And this is also where you can go down and you can actually make the purchase. So if you want to purchase our live trading, you can do so here. You just click on one of these buttons, right? When you click on it, you can actually go in and there's a payment, right? They're also all on payment plans. So you don't have to pay everything up front. This is a payment plan that you can do over a course of 3 months, right? Okay, so we got a couple questions here. All right. Is there a routine that allows for creating a covariance matrix of 9 different symbols? Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do that 100%. Yeah. I will actually show you how to do that in Pandas, right? Pandas makes it very, very easy to do covariance between different types of symbols. All you need to do is take all those symbols, put them into a data frame, and then it's like covariance, and that's it, right? It's really, really simple. And if you'd like, I can actually show you how to do that in one of our live classes. So yes, absolutely, Guy, you can do that. Is there a plan to also build machine learning into this? Yeah, so we actually sell these courses as package deals. So if you go into our, I'm gonna go back here, machine learning, we need to organize our website a little better to showcase this a little bit better. But we have plans here. We can buy both live classes together and you get a discount for buying them together, or you can buy self-directed of one and live of the other. So if you're interested in this kind of like package deals, we can absolutely get you with machine learning and algo trading together, and you'll save money when you buy the two together, right? If you're interested in that kind of stuff, make sure you book a call with us, and we could actually walk you through that on the phone with one of our sales reps, and they'll walk you through all the details of how all that works, right? How can one add a strategy for screening and picking symbols to run the algo, i.e. another symbol picking layer to pick the symbols I need to run these algos on? Yeah, so that's actually pretty easy to build in. And basically all you're doing and kind of, some of these strategies I showed you here before, this technical analysis is looking at one or two different stocks. All you need to do is just add in more code that's going to look at more symbols. It's actually very easy to build in. Maybe in the future, I could actually even show you guys kind of a strategy that does this sort of thing. I'll let our devs know so that they can put together something like this. But the stocks trading strategy is actually also not very hard to build, right? So we can show you how to build that if that's something you're interested in. All right, so thank you for that. Norbert, we can definitely do that. Guy Robert, you've talked about stock price indicators. Can you trade options based on delta values? Yes, absolutely. So if you're trading through interactive brokers, you have access to options trading, and they give you access to all the delta or the Greeks, right? So you can take these option Greeks and trade off those values as well, right? So you can definitely do that for sure. I'm not sure if it was you that I spoke with before or someone else, but we were talking about this for a while that we're adding an options capability. We finally have it working. So if you go through our June class, I'll actually show you how to do all that sort of thing as well. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Norbert. Thank you. Great. Awesome. Any other questions, guys? I'm here. What can I do to help you? This is what I love to do. This is my passion. This is what I love doing. I love investing. You could ask any of my friends. I'm obsessed with this whole investing kind of thing, and especially using technology to invest. It's funny how many people I speak to and they just get into trading and they're like, yeah, I heard this is a great thing to do, or this is a great thing to do. Instead of, losing and a lot of people blow up their accounts by following advice like that. Instead of doing that, it makes a lot more sense to actually look at the data, analyze it, and trade based off of that, right? So instead of, I think this is going to work, or I've heard from someone that's going to work, you could actually do the analysis yourself and say, is this a good strategy or not, right? And that's the advantage of all this, right? Is being able to figure out, is this a good strategy? Is this going to make me money? And then have it run for you automatically, and you don't even have to do anything, right? That's the whole advantage of all this stuff here. And then all the while, you're also learning a great skill and learning how to code, which not only is going to be great for your financial future, but it's also going to be great for your career, right? And this is something that is a very valuable skill as well, right? So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much for being on the call. This has been fantastic. You guys have been a great group of people to have on board. Our classes start in about a month from now, but if you sign up now, you're going to get, most likely a discount as well. I believe we give you early bird discounts. We also give you access to all the class materials immediately, right? So that way you can start getting into it before the class even starts, right? Also, these things do sell out, so make sure you get your spot, because we do want to keep a limit to the amount of people in classes, because we find smaller classes tend to make for much better education. So make sure you sign up before we go over our limit, right? Will there be a recording of this presentation? Reinhard asks, yes, if you go onto our YouTube channel, go search on YouTube. Here's one of our old presentations, but basically search for Lumiwealth on YouTube, and you can actually see that we're live streaming on YouTube right now. This is live right now. This live is going to be the recording, so you can rewatch it whenever you want, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Reinhard. Great job. Thank you. Thank you for being here very much. I appreciate it. All right, guys. So I hope you have a great day. Hope you enjoy the weekend as well, because it's coming up soon. And I hope to see you guys in class. This is every single time we do this, it keeps getting better and better. And I'm excited to actually teach our class tonight at 8 o'clock as well. And, I'm getting some great messages from our current students. So definitely excited for that. Hopefully I see you guys in our next class. All right. Have a great one. Thank you.